Dinosaurs! These creatures that once dominated the Earth for 165 million years have dominated our imaginations and the pop culture landscape for nearly as long. They've been an obsession for generations of toddlers and scientists alike, and they remain an objectively cool subject appreciated by everyone in between. And if you disagree, why did you click on this video? In any case, it's no surprise that since the earliest days of cinema, filmmakers have pushed the boundaries of special effects technology to reanimate these terrible, wonderful lizards. From the quaint to the cutting edge, the cuddly to the carnivorous, and in no particular order, here are IGN's picks for the 10 best dinosaur movies of all time. Well, obviously, not only is Spielberg's Jurassic Park arguably the best dinosaur movie ever, it easily doubles as one of the best movies ever, period. Adapted from Michael Crichton's second novel about a high-concept theme park gone haywire, Westworld being the first, Jurassic Park's groundbreaking special effects blew audiences away when it was released in 1993, and they still hold up impressively well to this day. The lifelike lizards may be the main selling point, but Jurassic Park's human stars are just as compelling. From Jeff Goldblum's chaotic Lothario mathematician Ian Malcolm to Wayne Knight's scheming hacker Dennis Nedry, Jurassic Park's infinitely quotable characters keep things moving in between raptor ambushes, T-Rex car chases, and Triceratops tummy aches.
That is one big pile of shit.
If you have somehow gone this far in life without seeing the ultimate dinosaur movie, you should remedy that immediately. But be forewarned, let me leave you with some sage advice.
Hold on to your butts.
Jurassic Park is a cautionary tale about the dangers of defying nature and common sense by resurrecting something long dead to make a few bucks with a lucrative entertainment product. So there's a certain irony that Universal Pictures did exactly that with the Jurassic Park franchise. More than 20 years after the original film, Jurassic World opened its doors, inviting viewers to a fully operational prehistoric amusement park where nothing can possibly go wrong, until it does and dinosaur chaos ensues. Jurassic World is nowhere near as good as the original, but as far as Jurassic Park movies go, it is one of the better ones, and as far as legacy sequels go, it understands the assignment. Jurassic World doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it builds on so much of what made the original fun. The fact that in addition to being smart sci-fi, it's also a big, dumb theme park ride at the same time. With Jurassic World Rebirth potentially kicking off a third trilogy, it's safe to assume this franchise is not going extinct anytime soon. However, even at 7 movies and counting, the Jurassic Park/World franchise has nothing on Spielberg's other dinosaur IP.
Mother? Where are you?
Though it would eventually spawn more than a dozen direct-to-video sequels, a TV show, and an avalanche of tie-ins and merchandise, The Land Before Time began as a charming little animated film from Don Bluth, executive produced by Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. The film tells the story of Littlefoot, a young orphaned Apatosaurus who embarks on a great journey to find a paradise called the Great Valley and make some friends along the way. A beautiful staple of 1980s animation, The Land Before Time clocks in at a brisk 69 minutes, making a great first dinosaur movie for younger viewers, assuming they're not scared off by Sharptooth the T-Rex. Of course, that T-Rex is a big reason for that breezy runtime. Fairly close to release, Spielberg and Lucas came away from a screening with the realization that Land Before Time might be a little too scary for its target audience. Rather than risk theaters full of screaming toddlers and the subsequent ire of their parents, they cut out almost 15 minutes of mostly finished animation for the theatrical release. Though this understandably ruffled some feathers behind the scenes, it was probably the right call in the long run, and the first film was a hit, and The Land Before Time would go on to be a prolific, family-friendly franchise. The same can't be said for Disney's Dinosaur. Though it was received okay critically and commercially, it generally isn't held in the same regard as most of the House of Mouse's other animated features. At face value, Disney's Dinosaur has plenty in common with The Land Before Time. It follows a young orphan dino on a trek to discover the idyllic nesting grounds after a meteor shower devastates the island he calls home. Where Dinosaur differs is its stunningly ambitious approach to animation. While Pixar was revolutionizing the medium with digital worlds rendered from the ground up, many scenes in Dinosaur superimposed CGI characters onto live-action backgrounds which had been filmed on location beforehand. At the time of release, it was one of the most expensive computer animated movies ever made. Of course, that honor was subsequently basically blown away by every major animated movie produced after the fact, but that's beside the point. Depending how old you are, the story of how Disney's Dinosaur got made is probably more interesting than the movie itself. As legend has it, it was conceived by stop-motion animation pioneer Phil Tippett while working on RoboCop with Paul Verhoeven. While struggling with the Tyrannosaurian Ed 209 sequence because Peter Weller had apparently worn the wrong pair of RoboCop shoes, the two got to talking about ideas for a movie about dinosaurs. Unsurprisingly, Verhoeven's vision was a dark, gritty, and ultra-violent spin on a nature film. Even less surprisingly, after taking this project to Disney, it wound up in development hell for years before emerging as something family-friendly that Verhoeven had nothing to do with. On the bright side, it was due to his frustrations working with Disney during this process that Tippett instead went and lent his special effects expertise to another dinosaur-related project, Jurassic Park. What's that expression?
Life, finds a way.
In the pantheon of Pixar movies, The Good Dinosaur is definitely more of a B-side than a greatest hit, but a subpar Pixar movie is still better than most other family films out there. The jury's out on whether the title is deliberately throwing shade at Disney's Dinosaur, but the animation in Pixar's The Good Dinosaur is definitely easier on the eyes in the age of 4K. In The Good Dinosaur, the comet that would have otherwise caused that fateful extinction event instead sailed safely past Earth, resulting in an alternate history where the giant reptiles and early humans coexisted. But unlike other instances of this trope, the dinosaurs don't terrorize humans, and the humans don't use the dinosaurs as household appliances. Instead, The Good Dinosaur presents prehistoric humans as a frightening new threat to peaceful Apatosaurus farmers, leading to some very cute interactions that also crumble under the slightest amount of scientific scrutiny.
Sometimes you gotta get through your fear to see the beauty on the other side.
King Kong is first and foremost about a giant gorilla, and while the original 1933 film's most iconic imagery usually centers on the Empire State Building, biplanes, and/or Fay Ray, let's not forget that King Kong tangles with some dinosaurs too. Kong's kingdom of Skull Island is home to its share of terrible lizards, including Tyrannosaurus Rex, Stegosaurus, and Pteranodon, plus a few more. King Kong's dinosaurs were brought to life by stop-motion pioneer Willis O'Brien, who'd had some experience in that department thanks to his work on The Lost World. The original 1925 one, not the one where a raptor is defeated with gymnastics. Skull Island's reptilian denizens tend to play second fiddle to the big monkey, but they're worthy of some recognition too, especially Kong's showdown with the T-Rex. At the time of the film's release, this must have been a mind-boggling demonstration of special effects, and even though it shows its age now, there is something undeniably awesome about a gorilla whipping a T-Rex's ass. So you can see why somebody else would want to take another crack at it with some updated effects. And that someone just happened to be Peter Jackson, who'd loved the original 1933 King Kong since he was a kid, and regularly credits it with inspiring him to pursue a career in filmmaking in the first place. Though it was the Lord of the Rings films that would make the director a household name, his King Kong remake had actually been in development for much longer. However, it was largely thanks to the massive success of his Tolkien trilogy that Jackson was given the gorilla-sized budget and creative leeway to make an almost 3.5-hour epic, which, in addition to plenty of Andy Serkis monkeying around, also features a literal stampede of dinosaurs, plus that epic Tyrannosaurus Rex fight. Though, actually, they're supposed to be Vistatosaurus rexes, a fictional species of dinosaur that was created specifically for the film. Wouldn't make any sense for there to be T-Rexes. They would have evolved into something different. Obviously. It's science. In the 70-plus years between films featuring King Kong wrecking Rexes, there were countless creature features, some of the most notable ones courtesy of special effects titan Ray Harryhausen. 1 Million Years B.C. is a British fantasy adventure released in 1966 AD, which stars Raquel Welch as a cave woman struggling to survive in a fictional past where humans and dinosaurs coexisted, but not exactly peacefully. 1 Million Years B.C. is actually another remake, but one that benefits a great deal from improved special effects. The 1940 version it's based on does feature some dinosaur scenes, most of which are brought to life extremely practically, by gluing prosthetics to live animals and in some cases just making them actually fight. While that's definitely impressive in an absurdly inhumane, comically unsafe way, the end result pales in comparison to the remake's stop-motion creatures, which are considerably more impressive than an armadillo with spikes glued to it. If the idea of dinosaurs and cavemen is too cliche, how about dinosaurs and cowboys? Another Harryhausen home run was the cult western The Valley of Gwangi, a story originally conceived of by Harryhausen's mentor, Willis O'Brien, the same guy who gave us the original King Kong T-Rex fight. O'Brien passed away before Gwangi went into production, but in any case, Harryhausen delivered on the dino department in this completely bonkers adventure. After discovering that a rodeo horse is 50 million years old, the members of a Wild West show venture into a forbidden valley in Mexico where they tangle with a bunch of prehistoric creatures, including the titular Gwangi, a tyrannosaurian monster who eats a bunch of them, like you'd expect. If you'll allow a brief personal anecdote, when I was 8 or 9 years old, I caught part of this movie at like 4 a.m. on a Spanish language channel when I was the only one still awake at a slumber party, and I've spent literally the last 30 years wondering if I had just dreamed it, so it was pretty exciting to find out about it while putting this video together, so thanks Gwangi, good to have you back. Some dinosaur-centric programming that aired at a much more reasonable time slot when I was a kid was Land of the Lost, the hip 90s reimagining of the groovy 1970s Sid and Marty Krofft kids show, which was in turn given a big-budget, early-aughts big-screen adaptation. While the shows were definitely on the goofy side, the movie fully leans into comedy, following Will Ferrell and Danny McBride as they get sucked into a mysterious vortex that spits them out in a mysterious realm, a land of the lost, if you will, which is populated with bizarre creatures, including, but not limited to, dinosaurs.
He's right behind me, isn't he? I knew it. Just trying to be still. I don't think it's working.
So there you have it, IGN's top 10 dinosaur movies of all time so far, with a few honorable mentions thrown in there for good measure. Are these all great films? Maybe not, but they all have dinosaurs in them, and dinosaurs are awesome. And let's be real, there are definitely worse dinosaur movies out there, like say, We're Back, a dinosaur story, in which lovable cartoon dinosaurs travel to present day and become super intelligent. So sort of like if The Land Before Time took place during time instead of before it. It's the land in time. That was a stupid series of words to say out loud, but nowhere near as stupid as A Girl Must Cope with the Fact That a Mad Scientist Has Transplanted Her Dead Boyfriend's Brain into an Animatronic Dinosaur, which is the plot of Tammy and the T-Rex. Not to be confused with Theodore Rex, which is a futuristic buddy cop movie in which Whoopi Goldberg must learn to overcome her differences with her partner, who is a dinosaur. Carnivore is about a scientist who wants to exterminate the human race and populate the Earth with murderous genetically engineered dinosaurs for some reason. And if you consider yourself a real dino movie connoisseur, and you've seen all of those and 65, which is sort of like Planet of the Apes, except instead of Charlton Heston in the distant future where Earth is ruled by primates, it involves Adam Driver going back in time to when Earth was ruled by dinosaurs, obviously. And you'd probably never guess it from the title, but Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend is also about dinosaurs, but you may have guessed from the title that not many people wanted to line up to go see it. What's the best dinosaur movie of all time, besides Jurassic Park, obviously? And hey, what's your favorite dinosaur? And also, what movie do you think would be improved the most by adding dinosaurs? Trick question, they all would. But in any case, sound off in the comments below about dinosaurs. Just share your favorite dinosaur facts, or whatever. And for all things movies, dinosaurs, and everything in between, you are already in the right place, IGN.